Yes, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is What's on Jones. I want to talk about Greg Jackson. Greg Jackson of the famous Greg Jackson Fight Camp. You know, Greg Jackson has had a lot of success in MMA. He's had a lot of great fighters, in his group from GSP to Rashad Evans and the current light heavyweight champion John Jones. So the list goes on with all the great fighters they had, in their camp. They even got some come-up fighters. A lot of fans dislike Greg Jackson. Dana White dislikes Greg Jackson. And one of the reasons why a lot of fans just dislike Greg Jackson because they just don't like the decisions that he be making for his fighters. For example, the whole John Jones not taking a fight with Chael Sonnen and UFC 151 situation. That's like the biggest story. That's probably going to be the biggest MMA story of the year, to be honest with you. Greg Jackson takes a lot of heat for that as much as John Jones does because he had a lot to do with influencing the man of saying, hey, look, this is the situation. If you take this fight on short notice, it's probably going to be the biggest mistake of your career. So Greg Jackson got in the head of John Jones. He got in his head and basically got him not to accept that, not to take that fight. Let's be honest here. Some people say that Greg Jackson puts Vaseline on his fighters' arms. Vaseline. It's Vaseline, that slippery stuff. Puts Vaseline on his fighters' arms. So I remember at one point people were saying that, Rashad Evans had, Tito Ortiz had said that Rashad Evans had Vaseline on his arms. I believe that BJ Penn had said that GSP had Vaseline on his arms. They had complained about that. So at one point, his fight camp had the reputation of putting Vaseline on his fighters' arms, which would be cheating in a way because, hey, when you try to grapple with these guys, one of the things that people try to grab are your arms. So that means your hand is going to slip off their arms. But although that's not proven, so I'm not saying that he does do that. No, I don't think anyone ever proved that. I'm not saying that he does do that. But at one point, his fight camp did have that type of reputation. So that adds more fan heat to Greg Jackson. The fight that Clay Guida had with Gray Maynard, that fight, a lot of people was expecting that fight to be a knocked out, drag 'em out brawl, a stand-up, this entertaining stand-up war. And it wasn't that. It was the exact opposite. It was nothing but Clay Guida basically punching and running. He was just punching and running. And that's not Clay Guida's fight style. So a lot of people were shocked and very upset with that. And, he was just, like I said, he was just punching and running. And why was he punching and running? Because Greg Jackson, the leader of the Greg Jackson fight camp, told him to. So Greg Jackson doesn't give a damn if you don't like that. So if Greg Jackson feel like if that's what he got to do to win, then he's going to tell his fighter to do that. So he's not going to care what you think. He doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care about our opinions. So he clearly doesn't really care what Dana White thinks. So I wouldn't say maybe I shouldn't say he doesn't really care, but he's not going to go home and cry about something that Dana White has said about him just because he doesn't agree with his opinions and his fight tactics, for his fighters. He's not going to go home and cry about that. He's going to make money despite himself. He shouldn't get too much heat with Dana White because you don't want to have heat with Dana White. You don't want to have too much bad blood with Dana White. I asked Ken Shamrock, I asked Tito Ortiz. There's a large number of fighters who you don't want to just have bad heat with Dana White. That's a no-no, to be honest with you. So hopefully he don't get in too much bad heat with Dana White because Dana White is really pissed off at him. But here's my point. Greg Jackson, he doesn't care about your opinion, about my opinion, about his fight tactics. If he feel like this is what he got to do to win, then that's what he's going to do. He doesn't care. He keeps his fighters' interest at best at all times. At all times. So if you are a franchise fighter like John Jones, he's going to keep his interest best at all times. Trust me. He's not trying. That's why he picked John Jones over Rashad Evans, because he saw that John Jones was this up-and-coming franchise fighter, the next big thing, that the future, and that's technically what John Jones is, despite the fact the way, what you feel about him. So he doesn't care about your opinion. He only cares about his opinion and what he thinks and what, just basically what he thinks. So, this is Warzone Jones. You haven't done so, subscribe, baby. That's all I gotta say. I'm out. Deuce.